So this is the, what year is this? 2006 GS430 stock exhaust as of right now. He's gonna start it up and we're gonna see how it sounds. All right.
Alright, so first things first, we got to make sure all our jacks are under our car for safety purposes. I'm using this jack stand. What I'm going to do, as soon as I pull off those two bolts, I have two bolts on these sides. I believe they're 14 millimeters, one on this side, one on this side. And I already pulled one of these boots off. I got one more on this other side that's hanging down. As soon as I pull that boot off, I'm going to put this jack stand right under there, so I'm not tearing the boot off with all the weight on there. That should be fine right there.
It's pretty much just those two bolts hold the whole exhaust and the rubber.
Yeah, those two bolts and these two rubber pieces. One's on this side, here it is one, and then you got the exact same thing on the opposite side. We have two more rubber grommets
on this side right here under the exhaust.
We got one right here on each side of the mufflers.
One right there.
So these are both going to come off. And then on the right side, same exact setup. So basically we're going to pull off these grommets on both sides, the two grommets up front and the two bolts, and that's it. I'm doing a axle back exhaust for now.
Alrighty, let's take it all off now.
Alright.
Okay. It's on.
Alrighty, so the exhaust is off. So all we did, here you can see the grommets. I left the grommets attached to the vehicle. I pulled them off the exhaust. And here's your resonator. I did put a stand right towards it so it doesn't fall off. You gotta make sure you do that, because otherwise it'll just be hanging there, dangling down. Coming back here, you can see these other two grommets, and these are still here, ready for.
And this is what the old exhaust looks like. Pretty much where it connects to the resonator, and then the two tips with the mufflers. Okay, you can explain the exhaust. What is this?
This is the new exhaust versus the old one, like you've seen a minute ago. So what we're doing is, this is a top speed Pro 1 performance exhaust. Axle back. Can't remember the specs on this exact exhaust, but it seems like those tips are at least 4.5 to 5 inches in diameter. But I can give you all that info as soon as I get it. We'll write it down for you. So this exhaust comes in two pieces. You have this piece that gets bolted on, and then you have this piece that gets bolted onto the resonator. Before hooking the whole set up, you want to slowly get those bolts in there, but don't crank them until you get the whole exhaust in place and ready to tighten, make sure it looks good. Everyone says that as soon as you set up the exhaust, if you go too tight on those bolts before setting up the grommets, your exhaust might be a little crooked.
Also, don't forget your new gaskets that come with it too. There's one that goes on this side and one that goes in between where they connect. And they also give you new bolts.
Looks like they give you new bolts. I'll be using just the two. I won't be using those bolts that I have on my resonator. They do look a little nicer, so I think I'm gonna just go ahead and use those. They're spring loaded as well, if it works. We'll see how that goes.
And we'll have everything in the link description with the sizes and everything else. So now we gotta install it. Okay, so this is the install. As you can see on the grommets, everything in there. It's attached to the resonator. Gives it a much better look. Let's see how it looks on the outside.
And I did use the stock bolts for underneath. They're spring compressed.
see my helmet's working.
So this is how it looks now, but we'll get a better shot when we roll it outside. Let's hear how it sounds. Let's hear it.
Pretty quiet.
It is. It has a deep sound to it though.
It's really deep.
Yeah.
I'll give it a little bit of gas here. Good question. There was a Top Speed Pro 1 exhaust that we put on there. Axle back, from the axle back. And then I went down to the shop and I deleted my secondary cats. Or cat is just one. There's two primaries, one secondary. Cut that off, cut the resonator off right after that, and straight piped it from there. Yeah.
Much deeper now.
There it is. The car is warm, so it does sound a lot more brutal when it's cold. I just came back from the store, so it's still really hot, and it's really hot outside. Maybe we'll shoot another video sometime from a cold start.
Well, we're gonna do some rolling ones too from the outside.
Rolling shots.
It almost sounds good like mine. This is how mine sounds cold start. Just a little bit louder.
Just a little bit.
So yeah, so we're gonna do some more rolling ones and see how it sounds on throttle.
All right, so this is just normal takeoff.
Obviously in the inside of the car.
Pretty nice and quiet inside. You can hear it a little bit. You can hear a little bit of a drone, but that's when you're accelerating. Like now. And then once you're coasting, this is 40 miles an hour right here. It just about goes away completely. You can't hear anything at all. And then of course when you step on it, that pulls pretty good.
Yeah, it stops really good.
So in case you guys are wondering how to put a license plate on without really drilling holes in your bumper, I ended up buying a bracket from eBay. It's a little aluminum bracket that bends about 180 degrees. You get that little bracket and you can pretty much swivel it any way you want to. I decided to put it right here on the right hand side. What I had to do is literally I had to pull this grill off. It was really a pain in the butt, but what you have to do is you have to push it back. You have to push it back hard enough and try not to break any clips. It's got a ton of clips all the way around. And then you got to feed and stick your hand all the way inside to hold on to the nut where the bolt goes in. Basically you screw on the bolt to the nut right up against the grill, and the grill holds the entire plate down. And there it is.
Looks good. Just gotta add a front lip and he's good to go.